So this is session 2 of 2 for the Gauntlet Hangouts of Kuro, which is a game published by Modifius. It's originally from Seventh Circle, one of the French companies. Modifius apparently has given up all of those licenses and thrown them back to Seventh Circle. Chin and Yggdrasil and Keltia and Kuro. So that is a very interesting move. They probably got other things on their plate. But it's interesting to see that shift. This is a J-horror cyberpunk game. We kind of set up an investigative mystery last time. It's set in 2046. And this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. We do have the X card. Also, just a brief moment of silence because for me, this is the first session we're playing after we lost iStream as an app within the Google Hangouts, which I don't understand, but fair enough. Didn't want apps, didn't want utility in your product. But anyway, so we have 3 characters on the table created last time. And why don't we start with Nyoki?
Nyoki is me, Christo. I'm playing, and Nyoki is a private investigator. He, what did I define originally? I think I defined that he wanted to be a policeman, but that didn't work out for him, so he ended up going back into private investigation. And so that basically explains how he is where he is. I used to say he was a little glower, but he seems to be a bit of an optimist since we've been playing him, so I think I'm sort of discovering what he is as we play.
Mm-hmm.
He is good at brawling and carries a gun, but we haven't seen any of that yet, but I'm expecting we're going to get a chance to do that since we started seeing these zombies and these ghosts.
Yes, you had a little flashback last time. We'll come back to that. How about Shiro?
So Shiro is a Japanese pop star. Started off as kind of like a young teen idol, and he's kind of been aging out of that. He went through a carefully constructed bad boy period, and now he's trying to kind of show that he's more of a grown up, an adult, very in tune with what's going on, all this crazy stuff that's going on in Japan and East Asia. So very, very image savvy, very image concerned media star.
And trying to dress a little older to present that image, right?
Right.
Makoto.
Hi. Let's see here. Makoto comes from a long line of spooky people, talented, particularly on her mother's side, talented with supernatural things, or at least invested in that spirituality that may or may not exist. Since the event, she's kind of come into her own, where she spent all of her school years trying desperately to seem normal. Now she doesn't have to worry about that anymore, and this has been sort of liberating for her. So she's everywhere with her nose in everything right now.
Awesome. So we'd established that you all vaguely knew each other. Had attended the same high school, were in the same neighborhood. The paths had crossed, though years had divided. And you were all caught essentially in a street riot and got grabbed up and put in the back of a police van, which was driven sort of off from the rioting. There was another person in the vehicle, another prisoner in a slightly different section, who seemed ill, and then kind of his face exploded, creating a kind of cloud of spores. It killed the police officer who was driving, or at least you assume he was dead. And it also got those spores and things on you, and you could tell it was unnatural. Makoto was able to place it, that it was something strange and occult. You were able to find that the person who was ill, you were able to get their ID, get their wallet, essentially, find that they had some drugs, some powdered drugs, with a little Nico cat in a box image on it. which seemed to be a processed version of these sort of spores that it had affected you. You then decided to dispose of the police van, which you did, and essentially you lit it on fire. You checked out some sources, were able to find the name of this person. The person who passed away is a guy named Yuji Kukuri, and you were able to locate where they lived and follow that back. You were also able to Shiro's contacts establish that the name of the drug is Shrade, and that it is pretty much restricted to the ward that you guys are kind of nearby, Yunganjaya, that it's a very local distribution. It seems to be somebody coming in on the market in the last couple months, and that the Yakuza are not involved with the distribution of it, and in fact are trying to track that back and have it out, find out who's distributing it and deal with that. You went to Kukuri's apartment, where you found that clearly he was an addict who had switched over to this drug after his other sources had been tapped out. You found that clearly his state had been deteriorating. You bleached his futon because you were afraid that perhaps there were spores in that. You found some drawings that seemed to be crude representations of like a bus accident with children dying. You followed that back to find out that an incident had occurred about 6 months ago during the Kuro, that a school bus of children had in fact gone off an overpass, essentially a group of kids from the Numata residential complex. Naoki had a brief hallucinogenic flash from the spores, in which he saw the dead cop out in the hallway, but that passed quickly. You were able to establish that this thing is a powerful hallucinogen, and you are afraid that quite possibly it is getting into your systems at this point. At that point, the cops were just rolling up to Kukuri's apartment building, and you guys decided to scram from there, and that's where we left off. Are there any details that I've left out or any questions that you have about what I've just said?
Can you give me a sense of what constitutes the Numata residential complex? Is that like the whole neighborhood, or is that like one big building or a set of buildings? What is that?
It's essentially one building, essentially kind of a apartment complex with a kind of an open air atrium in the center, like a 5-story building. It's more long-term residential sort of family stuff. It's why they actually they had the school bus. Sort of most of the kids were from there, is because it is more family-oriented residential units and things there.
So it's like built like in a quad or a circle. There's like a area in the center.
It's like a quad. It's like a big building with a sort of open air, sort of open area in the center where there's probably a little playground and stuff in the middle there.
Okay.
Not a full block. You'd guess, let's say, we said 5 floors. Let's guess 10 to 12 families per floor. So we're talking, anywhere up to 60 different units in the place.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, a sensible question. Anything about its layout or appearance that would make it significant?
Oh, is there any like occult significance, like to its location or to its layout? No, it's very conventional. You guys can pull up some pictures on your phone. It's very much sort of work block looking, very basic exterior layout. The whole thing seems very sterile in some ways.
Okay.
But nothing about the location that screams occult significance to you. So you had the complex. You also, another detail was that you were able to find out that there was weirdness in the nearby area, that there apparently had happened at the coroner's office.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another lead. So you had sort of the Yakuza. I believe you also had a club, right? Ryumi's. Am I right on that name? Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the fact that it was a processed drug. You had the coroner's office. You had the Numata residential building. So you've got a number of different leads or places that you can look into or go to. So let's go ahead and get started. Where do you guys want to go?
Did you say previously that some of the apartments look like they might have been abandoned up here or empty?
In this building here, the Kakuri building, or that you guys were just at, or
did we leave the building? We've already left the building.
I'm assuming you guys would have, since we sort of said it, that you guys scrammed from Kakuri. Yeah,
there were cops coming up on us, so we made kind of a quick break.
Good. Okay. And so Naoki says, "Well, why don't we get something to eat at that place that this guy used to go to all the time? Maybe that's where he got the drugs. And I'm hungry."
I'm hungry too. This sounds like a plan to me.
Let's do it.
All right. So it is now probably getting on 8 or 9 in the evening. So it is after dark. Again, that smell of fires in the distance, all of that wafting is carrying in the air. You've got that mixed with the kind of a little bit of humidity and the rain. So that's all in there for you. You will drive a few blocks over, have to park and actually walk, because it's in one of those blocks that's just a maze. Like, there's no getting even your micro van down in through these places. You're having to kind of go back and twist around. So you probably see, like a big line of vending machines. You'll see guys doing quick sales there. There's a guy who's walking around. Essentially, it looks like he's a hired exterminator for the neighborhood. He's got a little microwave device, and he's essentially microwave zapping bugs and vermin with that. It looks like that's probably unregulated. And right next to this bathhouse is this, best way to describe it would be a dive. It looks like it might have once had like nice kind of hex tiles on the outside, but most of those have been kind of torn away. So there's just that kind of glue outline where the hex tiles were. It clearly wasn't a bar at first. It is now. And it definitely has a feeling of a place that this is going to go under soon. Like, these are the last days of whatever this bar is. And when you go in, it's a bar slash food place. You can smell that they must just do a lot of kind of hot oil cooking, because that's mixed in here with the smell of beer and sweat. There's a little short order cook place back behind, and there's a like holographic jukebox at the back doing projections. Looks like a broken karaoke thing, and maybe a dozen people in here. What do you want to do?
I want to order some chicken wings. Maybe talk to the bartender a bit.
Sure. They will give you chicken wings. They do have the little air quotes around them on the menu. So they do like they're clearly the kind of the press processed thing. And they'll hear them hit the griddle in back, and the sizzle of that, and that smell of grease will blossom up here. And a bartender's there. Looks like a older guy. Has a look of somebody who this is not where they wanted their life to be. Very square jawed and depressed. So, what's sort of your approach with this guy?
We know the name of the guy whose apartment we just checked out.
Yeah, Kakuri.
Kakuri. Okay, yeah. Well, my first thing is I'm gonna kind of just like knowingly say like, hey man, have you seen Kakuri in a while?
He'll say, oh, no, that guy, he's bad news. He's been around here, but he comes in, he doesn't buy anything. We send him out. So I haven't seen him in days. He looked sick the last time he was in.
Any idea where he might be?
God, no. I know he lives not too far away. Let's have you make let's see, what's the appropriate thing? Why don't you make like an empathy roll here?
Okay. So oh gosh, this becomes a lot more complicated now that we don't have dice streams. So I get to roll 6 dice here.
So you're gonna roll.
It's a 5 plus 6.
So you can roll 3d6 for your charisma.
Okay.
And to add to that, you're going to add a value of 6. Remembering that 4s are zeros and 6s explode.
Okay, not so great for me. I got a 1, a 3, and a 4, so I think that's 4 total. What does the expertise mean? Oh, I can re-roll the lowest die. I've got expertise on this one, don't I? No, empathy, I have accuracy. So if it succeeds, I get to add 4 points to the success margin. That said, my roll total is going to be 4 plus 6, which is 10.
What you will get the sense is that you're clearly better dressed than his clientele normally is, and that's kind of putting him off a little. Like, most of these people can't afford to have clean skin like you do, and nice hair, and so he's a little suspicious. He doesn't think you're a cop, because no cop would come in here looking like that, but there's something weird you're getting off him. So while that's going on, and the chicken wings are dropped there, they put a squeeze bottle with the blue cheese, sort of dressing there. It kind of comes out in clots from the bottle. They've sprayed it with essentially buffalo wing spray sauce, and they put that out there for you. Makoto, what are you up to?
I think she's checking out the place in that sense of the people that are there, the places that you sit, kind of looking for who are the people who are sitting here all day long. Is there anything that, looks particularly, I don't know, mushroomy about one or the other of them?
Let's have you make your empathy roll.
Okay. Let's see here. That's an empathy roll, which is... Okay.
So you roll empathy plus charisma. Yep.
Okay. Okay. It's sort of locked. It says it's rolling the dice, and apparently that's really hard for it. So I'll try reloading it.
That's a terrible thing for it to be difficult for a dice thing.
Ooh, a 5, a 6, and a 6. So.
And those 6s explode.
Yes. And then I got a 3 and a 4. So the 4 doesn't count for anything, and that gives me 12, 17, 20 plus the 6, so 26.
So once again, a crazy high roll for you.
I feel really bad because you guys can't see it, so you think, but anyway, it's legit.
So you will see a woman. Looks like she's older. Looks like a neighborhood sort of a resident, kind of busybody. But also when maybe Kakuri's name is spoken by Shiro up at the front, she clearly reacts and is like listening, like something is going on. There's something she's worried about. She's very curious about that. You don't see anything in here mushroomy, but she's clearly reacting to the questioning and your presence there.
Okay. So I'll kind of go and sit down next to her and say, what do you know about Kakuri? Because last we saw, well, he was looking really bad.
She will say, well, I'm afraid he might have gotten grabbed up.
Grabbed up?
Yes. She pauses and she'll say, he would come around here from time to time to buy his stuff.
Okay.
Because there was a young man who dealt here. That guy, that young man, the dealer, he got grabbed earlier this evening.
Did you see by whom?
The Yakuza.
The Yakuza grabbed him up.
Yeah, they wanted to know where he got his stuff from.
Did he say anything?
I don't know. I mean, it was on the street. There was a lot of noise. They weren't being particularly subtle about it. He was just he was just getting off from his work. What I saw.
Do you know what his name was?
Go Takashima.
He was a regular here?
No, not. He came in here to deal and stuff. It was convenient.
Okay. How long had he been dealing?
Maybe a couple months.
That's all?
I have a feeling that someone talked him into it.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Well,
but he was a pharmacy tech, so he had little access to little baggies and things. So that's probably why he got recruited.
Okay, pharmacy tech. You know who he worked with before? Company?
Oh, he works at the little Instadrug pharmaceutical dispensary down the street.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And what about you, Naoki? And now that some of this information has been pulled to you.
So if Naoki now knows that the place we seem to want to go is the Instadrug place, and that's probably where we would go, I guess, unless there's a feeling we could get something more out of the bartender, which doesn't seem likely. Well, although if Shiro moves away from the bartender, Naoki could approach the bartender and buy something to drink.
So it's up to you. Do you want to head on to the Instadrug, or do you want to try and hit the bartender up?
I think I want to try and hit the bartender up.
Okay. Let's see. Do you want to do empathy as well? Do you want to play it harder?
I'm thinking. Well, it doesn't matter. All my things are basically the same score, so I could be empathy, fast talk, or intimidation. They're all 4s. So.
Okay. So 2d6 plus 4.
And it's going to be 2d6 what? Charisma?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. 2d6 plus 4. Well, I got a 4 and a 6, so the 6 explodes.
Yeah.
Got another 6.
Okay.
Got a 5.
Okay.
So that makes it 12, 17 plus, what was it, 4? So 21?
Oh, yeah. So the bartender, you look much more sketchy, so you fit in here. So when Shiro moves off, this bartender is like sympathetic with you, like, what's with this guy kind of thing, with the nice hair and stuff. And so he's a little more talkative with you. What is it that you want to try and get out of this guy here? This depressed, square-jawed guy who's clearly running a failing bar.
I want to try and get out of him where he thinks the drugs were coming from. And, if that dealer's gone, who's going to come in to replace him? If he's not in there already.
So you it'll take a little bit kind of working around to kind of get his trust. You're used to this kind of patter. He will say, he says, that guy, Takashima, he's a punk, just a punk. He didn't know what he was doing, didn't know to keep his head down. I mean, I know these things. I knew the yaks were going to come in. But, Takashima's buddy talked him into it. And it's your friends that are going to kill you. That's how it's going to work. They're the ones that are going to drag you down. You're going to see your enemies coming. It's your friends that are going to talk you into to bad shit. And that's what happened here. I don't know exactly how Daisuke got the drugs, but he clearly convinced Takashima to process them.
Yeah. That doesn't. You're absolutely right. It's our friends that bring us down. Very sad story. I'll take another. And so this is probably his third drink by now. And
oh yeah.
And so he says, "Yeah, very rough. You say Daisuke, huh? I don't think I've met Daisuke. But I feel bad for Takashima. I used to see him a lot in the neighborhood. He used to be a pretty upstanding guy. Maybe I need to go talk to Daisuke."
Well, it must have been a while ago because Daisuke Ban and Takashima were like that, at least the last couple of years. But here's the thing, of course, is Takashima actually got a legit job at the pharmacy. Daisuke Ban, he just does handyman stuff, the kind of off the books, small scale, petty things. So how he got a hold of this stuff, I don't know.
You sure it was him and not the other way around?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow, that's heavy. That's it. And I'll take another drink and then pay the tip. If I'm assuming that I'm not going to get any more information out of him.
Right. That seems reasonable.
Okay. So.
And I want you to imagine that you've been in bars and lower class bars. This may well be the worst sake I've ever tasted. You're still tasting it about 20 minutes out in the street.
Okay, maybe I need to get some of those chicken wings after all.
Oh, don't worry, the chicken wings aren't any better.
When you look down, you can see that the chicken wings now are probably the ones that even the ones he's eaten and not eaten. That there's a glistening sheet of grease on the platter there, like a little sea, and these are islands of chicken wings.
Sure.
I'm just going to eat the gummies when I get back to my truck.
Okay.
Packets of gummies. So. They're very filling.
So what's next?
Daisuke Bond, huh? He's a handyman, works around here?
Yep.
That seems like the best thing to follow up on. If I could get a chance, did I overhear that name at all? If I could.
Yeah, we're assuming that everybody has heard other people's information.
All right, then. I would just ask the old woman, like, what kind of jobs Daisuke did. I mean, she's clearly listening, just like the old woman is.
He's like a cleaner. I know that. He's gotten jobs cleaning up places that other people don't want to clean up.
Huh. Did he talk about any of them?
He hasn't come in here. I just know him by reputation.
Okay. Nope, that makes sense, though. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so morgue's on the table. Other locations, what do you guys want to do?
Oh, I was thinking maybe he worked in the morgue. If you cleaned up places that other people might not want to. That's what I was curious about.
I was thinking more of he was like an independent Stanley Steamer kind of guy, right?
Yeah, it seems a little lower than that. Sorry, you were saying, Shiro?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, the school bus site also sounded like a possible spot that he might have been at before. I said it would have been a while.
Yeah, that would have been about 6 months ago.
This guy seems a little tricky to track down. Yeah, we could always head to one of the other leads anyway, whether the bus site or the pharmacy. Because otherwise, I think this guy's going to be tricky to track down. I don't know.
Well, let's see here. Any of us have, because you do have a fine pod. So if it keeps if he has a address for any amount of time, since they've been in the neighborhood for a couple of years, might have been somewhere long enough to have an address or be in one of the directories.
True. Yeah, so I can ask Precious that, and I guess I could try and use a law enforcement contact to see if we can tap into, I don't know, whatever devices he might have, if any, and see where he's been.
All right, let's have you make an int roll. Precious essentially will lower the difficulty for this, and you can add either law enforcement or investigation to that.
Either law enforcement or investigation. Law enforcement 3, investigation. Which one? Searching? It's a wash. It's the same thing.
Yeah. You use the base investigation. The other ones are specialties. So yeah, investigation has a 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So law enforcement's better. Okay. Again, 4 and a 6.
So the 6 explodes.
Yep. Another 6. Okay, this is beginning to concern me.
That's the same seed.
Another 6.
Okay.
All right.
And a 3. So that makes it what? 21 plus 3, so 24.
So you'll call up somebody who works around in the Yongan-Jaya area, the cop, who handles the beat, who handles these things, and who owes you a favor. What is it? Why does he owe you a favor?
I gave him blackmail evidence on his boss.
And so when you call, there's that kind of choke when he realizes it's you and that this is a call in on that. And he'll listen to what you have to say, and he'll say, "Yeah, people that Takashima guy you talk about, they were asking about. Well, I just got a report in that his body was found."
Oh, that's horrible. I hear you had a
Yeah.
close friend named Dasuke that might have been with him.
Exactly. They're the one you were asking about. Daisuke, I don't know. He doesn't have a record. But I checked back, and it looks like I've got a residential address for him. So if I hand you that, maybe we're square.
You have no geolocation on him for anything? His identity card didn't show up anywhere?
Now that's a heavy pull. It's not a guy who's on big grids right now. Things are harder.
Come on. If you do this for me, we'll be even. I might even be able to find some more dirt on your boss.
So I don't have a geolocation on him, but I can give you something that when I ran his name popped up about a month ago. They found this kid, and he'd been like a little kid, like maybe 7, 8, and he'd been clearly hit over the head with something hard. Pipe, bat, not sure what. And Daisuke's name popped up in the report, like he had been seen around in the area when that happened. The body went missing. Like it went to the coroners and something happened. I don't know the details on that. But I can tell you that when I check the Sukeban, that name pops up there. It's like the only sort of criminal thing I have on this guy.
When you
But
said the
I've
kid,
got his residential card and his address.
okay, I'll take that. And you said the kid was hit in the head. How bad was it?
Fatal.
Yeah, no, I got that. How it was killed, it was fatal. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
You
but
asked, I told you.
yeah, but was the head like split open, chopped in half, pounded to a pulp?
Nah, it wasn't like a. I mean, you can tell when somebody goes to like they're angry hit. Now, this was more of a kind of calculated hit. Doesn't look like it. From what I've got in the report, doesn't look like the kid was touched otherwise.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you send me the addresses, we'll be square.
Okay, yeah. And he'll send you the address for Daisuke Ban, which is at the Numata residential complex.
Of course.
Shiro, let's see, what is your next move? What do you want to check into, or where do you want to lead the group?
I think that we've got a couple leads pointing straight to that residential complex, so that's I think that's at the top of my list right now.
Okay. So you guys cool with us cutting to there? Okay. So it's probably about 9:30. The rain, so on. Complex is there. All the tile here on the outside is sort of like light green. And then there's that sort of fluorescent. So everything has that sort of weird greenish glow, the hallways and stuff as you kind of walk in. And yes. And it's to actually get to the stairs to go up, you have to kind of walk into that courtyard. There's this courtyard with a playground, swings, kind of hear the chinkle of the chains kind of against each other as the wind comes. You see the sandbox there. The sand's all wet. Okay. Maybe a few like plastic pails sort of sticking there. Everything looks kind of untouched. And just empty. There is a building manager, and of course you have the number 4 Daisuke Ban's apartment. What do you want to do?
Well, I say we head straight for Daisuke's apartment, see if he's around. Before he, if he is around, then he's either going to spot us, hanging around looking at other stuff, or maybe if we head there first, we might be able to get the jump on him if he's here. Yeah, if he's not here, we can always just look around the apartment anyway.
Okay. So he's up on the 4th floor. Get up there. These are all very generic looking doors, things like that. A couple of them have plants outside, potted plants and things. There's a door and a window with curtains kind of thing. You'll hit the buzzer and you'll hear the sound go off. Hit that a couple of times. Won't get any response. The only thing you will notice is there's at least one person on the floor who, as you kind of turn around, you see they've got their curtain parted. They're, they're kind of looking at you. They see you look and they, shut that. How do you want to proceed?
Well, I go, hey, can one of you give me a hand? I don't think he's home, but might be able to get in anyway.
What do you need?
Well, I don't know how to pick locks, but, I think that this guy might, he seems to be really helpful with this sort of, sneaking and breaking and entering stuff. Can you give me a hand here?
Sure. Do you just cover for me so that Mr. Noisy Neighbor doesn't see?
So I'll stand and kind of like, body block it so that it's not really that clear what he's doing.
So this is a lock-picking check. This is not a question of if you can get it open, which you definitely can, but it's a question of whether you can get it open without setting off any alarms.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
is that lock-picking or sneaking?
Oh, it's lock-picking. Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be a dexterity based?
Yeah, let's say dexterity.
Okay. So I get a +1 for boost. So that'll be as in 3 dice. So clear that. Whoops, gives me that error. 2, 3, 6. So I got 1 exploder.
Okay. So 5, 11, 16.
And that was a 4, so that doesn't get me anything. So that's 5, 11 plus 5 is 16.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get this. This is a pretty basic residential lock. You'll get that open. You'll probably have to pop that. It's probably gonna be broken, but you've got it open. Come into an apartment. Smells like chemicals in here. I mean, like cleaning solutions and things like that. You three will come in, and there's definitely, this is a guy who cleans stuff up for a living. You can see there's several pairs of work overalls. One's orange sort of jumpsuit, one's blue, one's yellow. These are clearly bought sort of secondhand. Everything here is clearly, he's not a professional cleaner, but he's bought all this stuff to do that. Doesn't look like he's here. So you guys are inside. Makoto, let's start with you on what you want to do in checking this out.
I think I'm going to try to figure out where he's most likely to be at this point. So sort of like I did it the last time, I'm going to sort of take the walk around the apartment and try to get a feel for this guy. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to,
So what do you want to call that?
I don't know. Last time I think it was just like empathy. Like I was going and testing all
Psychology
this?
is what you used.
Oh, okay. Did I?
Yeah.
So
let's say int
wait.
plus,
Okay.
right?
Which skill did I use?
Psychology.
Okay, sure. I will use that.
Okay. Let's have you do psychology. Wit plus intelligence is your dice.
Okay. And let's see here in psychology, so I would get to add 7. Sorry, just trying to figure out what all these little bits mean. Okay, even my 5s would explode. Come on. All right. It's doing that same thing. I have to reload it. So I got a 6 and a 1.
Okay.
So, and another 6. And a 3.
It may have error messages, but it rolls 6 quite excellently. So that's awesome for you guys.
Right. So that's 12, 13, 14, 12, 13.
This guy
16,
looks
yeah.
like a guy
Mhm.
for all of this sort of the stuff, that he's working all the time. Like he does odd jobs all the time. You will see that he's got cleaning equipment there. And you'll probably find some of that powder indicating at least the drug connection. But kind of looking, he must be on a big job because there's a bunch of like some chemicals and other stuff, places where he might have a kind of a big kit for that are gone. He also has like 3 or 4 baseball bats. And a couple of them have been like washed down.
Okay, so that's kind of bad. So I'm going to ask a question.
I'm going to give you an answer.
Okay. Can I tell if they've been used to kill a person? Like I have the occult and all of that stuff. Do I have any?
That's a really interesting idea. Yeah.
I can.
Well, no, actually, this I'm going to be making an occultist roll on this because there's
Okay.
something here.
All right. So go switch over to my character. I'm making occultist. That's a 6 with a boost, which means another die.
Yep.
Am I making that an empathy? That sounds like okay.
Intelligence.
Or I mean, intelligence. Okay. So that's a 2d6 plus, well, it's a 3d6. Okay. 3, 3, and 5. So that's 8, 11, plus whatever my score is.
When you kind of look at it and you're getting that feeling, these weapons have definitely been used for violence.
Mm-hmm.
But they have not been used for violence against people.
See, that's what I was wondering. Are those mushroom people? I mean, are those people mushroom people?
That's a good question. So, Shiro, Naoki, who wants to go next?
He's the investigator, so if he's got something he wants to do here, I think he's better equipped for it than I would be.
Okay.
So is there any computer screen or anything like that?
Yeah, he's obviously got at least a tablet there, the hard hooked up one. Sure.
Sure. So can I I don't suppose I can hack anything, but I'd be trying to figure out, I guess, what he's been looking at recently.
Sure, let's
So
have
getting
you
into
do
his
that.
browser history.
Yeah, let's do that with a simple investigation roll plus intelligence.
Okay, well, everything I have is 2, so that's easy. Yeah, no, I got the easy character. I'm all
Oh, yeah.
2 across the board.
Mhm.
And then investigation, if it's straight investigation, it'll be a 2. Okay.
Okay.
So 2 plus 2, assuming I don't explode. I explode! Yay! Except it's 6
Yay.
and 5 this time around. They reversed. I was scared that all of my last dice seemed to be exploding. I thought that doesn't look very good. And that's a 4. So I still see a pattern here. But so that's an
So
that's 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a surprising amount of stuff on mushrooms in his browser history, particularly on gardening and the growth of mushrooms, and organic gardening and organic urban gardening and things like that. You can also see how is the best way to put this?
Did he forget to turn off the geo tracking so that maybe it shows where he's been recently multiple times?
No, but it does show if you kind of check back. Well, you got 13, and that's a decent roll for the difficulties in this game. You will see that he has a recent email in his thing asking for a progress report on his site cleanup for a location. And he apparently is employed right now to do the cleanup on the Akuma Medical Center. You'll kind of page back, you'll see that the Akuma Medical Center is like a little neighborhood, like annex hospital that got shut down like after the Kuro incident. They essentially they redeployed their resources and shut it down, but there's a lot of hazardous stuff on site, so this guy essentially is employed to clean that up.
Okay, but nothing else that might indicate.
No, you're guessing if he's got his stuff with him, as Makoto figured, then that's probably where he's at, either there or going there or coming from there.
But we also heard he was picked up by the Yakuza, right?
No, that's his buddy.
Oh, that was the other guy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Shiro, what about you?
So I think, like, while this is going on, I know that the Yakuza are after this guy also. I'm kind of putting word out to my buddy that, like, I'd like to get in touch with somebody at the Yakuza soon because I might have information related to this guy. And if they're after him, then we're after him too. So maybe we could make a deal and work together on this one.
Let's have you make a organized crime roll with your charisma.
All right. So my charisma is going to give me 3 dice plus a straight up 4. So that is a 1 and a 3. And then the third one is going to be a 2. So that's a 10 total. I need to start using this. I need to switch back to the online dice roller because these regular dice aren't doing nearly as well. But that's going to be a 10 total.
You will get back a response through your guy. He'll talk to you, that, And the response back you'll get is, they said no. Apparently, they've got this guy in their sights.
Well, at least we've got some useful information then. And I go, any idea where they are? Any idea where that might be?
No, they weren't talking. But when I floated the stuff past them, they were like, "No, we've got what we need."
Okay, if they insist. I've heard he's a really slippery figure. So, if they get back to you, let me know, because I think you could evade them. We'll see.
Well, yeah, but yeah, okay. If they give me a call back, I will call you right away.
Please do. Okay. So,
sorry, go on.
no, you go on.
So since I've got his tablet open, I'm going to make sure that to friend him on social media so that I can see it when he turns active again. If you manage to get back to the apartment while we're out.
Yeah, you can certainly get all the tweet stuff and set that up.
Yeah. Or whatever now happens in Tokyo.
Makoto?
Okay, so I am anxious and ready to move. I'm like, okay, so he's growing mushrooms somewhere, and she goes, and there's mushroom people. That kid that he hit with the bat, that was a mushroom kid. So we got to figure out where these are coming from. Because whatever that site is, that's where those spores are coming from. How long has he been working on the Akuma site?
For about the past 3 months.
And that coincides with how long these drugs have been being distributed, right?
2 months,
past
isn't
couple
it?
months, yeah.
2 months,
doesn't
yeah.
sound
It's
like
come a while to get Takashima to cut the stuff and all of that thing, right? So I think that might be where I think the Akuma Medical Center might be the place. And she kind of looks around and she goes, okay, so if we have to blow someplace up, does he have the stuff here to do that?
Huh.
Ammonia and chlorine?
Yeah, or ammonia and bleach. Well, that'll just kill everyone who's there.
Yeah.
But,
well, none of you are particularly set at demolitions or explosives.
well, you could ask his pod how to do it.
That is true. It is a technical skill, and I don't think anybody has explosives as a thing. But you can always try and jury rig it.
You know what I do have? I have a cult tech. Could I make a big occult bomb? Something that's not for killing people, but would be for killing those mushroom things?
It'd take some time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you want to stop and do that, I would let you do that, but we would have a roll, and that would see how long it would take you to do it.
I'm thinking maybe you can find more materials at the medical institute.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take something awesome from here that looks like it would be good for killing things.
And what we're talking is, say, look, we could always set a good old-fashioned fire. You know how to do that.
I do. We're a truck.
Nayuki says, I like the way you're thinking. So we're doing you get a bat, and you get a bat, right?
That's probably not a bad idea. You got to hit them on the head. Very, okay.
So you guys will step out, onto the walkway, and you're kind of moving to this very quiet here. It's like 10 o'clock at night. The only thing you'll hear is you can see kind of across the way, like down on the second floor and stuff, you'll see, kind of hear a and you can see that there's this kid, and he's knocking on this door.
Oh my gosh.
And No one's answering. And you'll hear, Mama,
No,
Mama.
it's those school bus kids.
Do we all see this kid?
Yes. There is that moment where you kind of get that, there's got to be a flash, and nope.
I think these aren't normal hallucinations. I don't think this is just a typical run-of-the-mill, psychedelic mushroom, in my opinion. Seems like we're getting glimmers of actual spirits.
Shiro, just because you're afraid of kids doesn't mean all kids are hallucination.
Just because you're afraid of cops doesn't mean all cops are a hallucination. Some are. You've seen that, or you have.
Okay.
Naoki goes up to the kid and he says,
So he's
What,
down.
you're gonna go down there?
Floors down, and on the other part, do you guys want to head down there?
I kind of don't.
We'll watch Naoki. We've got a good view of it.
Here, I'm gonna look around. Is there signs of mourning on these apartments, like on that apartment?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's
signs
the black
of warning?
mourning,
mourning.
like the
Mourning,
black
oh.
ribbons of mourning,
Okay.
and things like that.
Because that's probably one of the dead kids from the school bus.
So you're starting to move down there, Naoki, when she says that.
Yeah.
So he pauses a little bit and he says, if it might be a real kid, I have to check. And so he goes down anyway.
So don't forget your bat.
Oh, I've got it.
Okay.
And we had been hearing the tapping noise before, hadn't we?
Probably mostly when you came out.
Okay.
So I assume the others are kind of following a little distance behind you. You'll move up there. As you approach, the kid stops, turns very slowly and looks at you.
Does he look like a mushroom kid?
Looks like a little child. Got a little school uniform on. Maybe,
Oh, that's not freaky at all. Okay.
7 years old, kind of staring at you.
Are you having problems, son?
They won't let me in. They should let
How
me in.
long have they... When did you get back?
They won't let me in.
Naoki knocks on the door. Louder.
You'll hear, "Go away!"
Was it a mother or a woman's voice, a man's voice?
And you'll actually hear probably, since you kind of did the thing with the social thing to see if with Daisuke Bond's communications and stuff, you will see that somebody is calling him right now.
Okay. And so again, I think the kid looks completely normal. I don't think it's an infected kid.
The kid doesn't have any sort of mushroom signs or anything like that. Just looks like a normal kid.
Okay. I'm gonna pop the door.
On this apartment?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Let's have you make a lockpick roll for me.
Oh, but aren't bad decisions what drive these things?
Absolutely.
It's a horror movie. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I have to have something to feel really guilty about, right?
Sure. In fact, I won't even have you make a roll because you've already done these doors. You know how to do them, right?
Oh yeah.
No problem. So you will pop that door,
Mm-hmm.
and literally, the second that door is cracked open, you are kind of like there's a wind and you're kind of knocked back, and the kid, like a blur, is gone and in the apartment, and you'll hear "Ah!" and the door kind of slams shut. What would you like to do?
I'd like to open the door again. Gotta know what's going on. I'm an investigator. Come on, people.
Me, Shiro, after this. So.
Oh no, you won't. Then it'll be Naoki's ghost following you around.
So you will.
Naoki, are you insane?
Throw the door open, and you will see this guy. And he has a phone in one hand, and he is sprawled against this wall on the other, and you can see that his neck is kind of twisted unnaturally, and this kid is just holding the head of this guy and kind of leans forward, and you'll start hearing a kind of a like wet, squelchy feeding sound. What would you like to do?
Since the kid is feeding and occupied, I'm gonna use my stealth, which I'm very good at, my shadowing or sneaking, sneak up on it and pop him upside the head with a baseball bat.
All right. Let's have you make let's do this as strength plus brawling. Or actually, dex plus brawling is what it is.
Works for me.
So, you see him go in the apartment, you two, after this child vanishes in there. Are you moving up, or are you fleeing the scene?
I'm going to move up because at the very least I'll have to place a ward on the place so no one else goes in.
I'll move up with her because I don't want to be stuck alone out here.
Fair enough.
It's getting to that point, isn't it?
Okay. All right. So, what do you got, Chris?
I got. Let's see. Do I get any bonus for that? That's a 9. I rolled 9. I had one exploding 6.
Okay.
And we were saying that was brawling, so that means I get a +4. So that's 13. And wait. So I rolled 9.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. That's actually 10. I can't do math. So that was actually a 10. Plus 2 for whatever my stat is, and all my stats are the same. Oh, no, that's wrong. Sorry, that's what I roll the dice. Sorry. Backwards. 14.
14. So let me quickly check the weapon table here. Because everybody loves gear tables.
It's a head bashing bat, isn't it? +4?
Head bashing bat. It's a Vorpal head bashing bat. Your strength is that. So you will catch this kid upside the head and hits it, and it drops this person with a broken neck. Skin is kind of going a little more pale and translucent, and the kid kind of turns around, and you hear this ah, and it is kind of leaps at you. So what is your defense number?
14.
Okay. So it kind of comes at you like fingernail and teeth to kind of grab onto your hand, but you kind of back away from it before it can get at you. Now it is clearly hurt. You will see that the head is kind of caved in. You don't see any blood. So, Shiro, Makoto, you guys are at the doorway and see this. What do you want to do?
I'm going to run in there with my sword.
You going to katana it?
Yeah.
All right.
As much as I hate to engage this thing, I don't want Naoki to get in any more trouble than he's earned.
So what does it look? What does it look like when you kind of unfurl your katana?
It just kind of like snaps into shape with like kind of like a loud, pop, and it's like, immediately like, stiff and kind of ready to go. And I'm going to charge in and try to drive this thing through.
So dexterity plus melee weapons.
Okay, so that's going to be 3d6 on my dex plus the melee weapons, just like a straight 4 bonus to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me roll the dice. Oh, that's a 1 and a 1. Let me roll the third one on this, and that one's a 6. So
Good.
we're at 8 plus 9, 10 plus the 4 is a 14.
Plus the 6 you roll again, right?
I did, but that's what got me the 2. So I got a 1, a 1, and a 6, which got me to 8.
Okay.
I rolled a 2 on the extra die, so that got me to 10, and then the 4 with the melee weapons gives me to 14.
All right, so you will hit it. Roll me 2d6 for the damage of this sword.
That's a 4. I really should start using the dice roller.
So it will slice into this thing. You can see where the kid's been hit. There's no blood, but there's some like bruising, weirdly enough, that's forming. You'll cut into this kid, no blood, and you'll kind of pull that katana back, and it's hurt, but it's still moving, and it is fast. What are you going to do, Makoto?
I'm going to pull out my Yomi Tapo. It's a cult tech. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but it is a culty. And see if that will put it down once and for all.
Okay, that's going to be a dexterity roll, flat for you.
I know. I didn't realize that. This system. So dexterity. Oh, and I'm awesome at dexterity. Jeez. Okay, let's try it.
Yeah, and again, what does the Yomi Teppo look like? How do you imagine that?
Well, you said that it looked like some sort of old, like revolver, like musket and ball almost, kind of, but like the long thing, all very, I don't know, hodgepodge and put together by someone. So it looks very handmade, like a model reenactment gun. So.
Now you could,
yes,
if you wanted to. They have a thing where you can
when
go
I bought
for
it, I thought I could use my occult tech on it.
Well, this is actually, you can try for a precise shot.
Okay.
Which means that you're actually going to use your reflexes plus your skill.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. That's at least another die. So, okay, I will do that. I will refresh. Sorry. Okay, so I got a 1 and a 6. So, and a 5. So, 11, 12.
So that will hit. And Kaizo is social status, social rank. So you fire this off, and two things happen sort of simultaneously. This shot hits this kid, and it just kind of collapses to the ground, falls, and all of it, clothing and flesh, everything, just kind of starts to rot. Just fast, that sort of speed motion kind of rot. The other thing, of course, is that this is a flintlock, so that noise is incredibly loud in here. You're in this small apartment, and it goes off, and there's this boom. and that will kind of carry.
Okay.
You will know that you need to get out of this area now.
Now is the time.
So, Akuma Medical Center? Everybody ready?
I'm already running out the door.
Okay. So you guys are out the door. Book. You would expect lights to be going on, people to be checking things, all of that noise. No. People stay in their rooms. They don't open. Maybe curtains are shifted, but they shut them as soon as they see people running. No, you hear the sound of other chains and locks going. And you will book downstairs, running for the lorry, going to get yourself loaded up in that. Even as the police, any kind of detectors around here are picking up the sort of ballistic microphone and detecting there was a gunshot in this area. And you guys will head off to the Akuma Medical Center, and we're going to take 5, and we will take up with you arriving there.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to have to clear the dice. Die rollers. Why?
See, that wasn't so bad.
That wasn't so bad at all. Wah, 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 wah. Oh my gosh.
I might have made a mistake. I have a question. So I was using a baseball bat. Is that brawling, or is that something else?
I called it brawl. Just easy enough to do it that way.
That's what I would have figured, because it's not like it requires much specialty to use.
Yeah.
I think it fits the definition of the word brawling if you hit someone with the baseball bat, right?
Yeah, I did count the skills plus specialties, and it is over 200 specialties in the thing.
Gosh.
The more skills, the better, like I said.
Yeah.
More things you can do.
So if you have the explosive skill, there are 5 specialties: charge positioning, demolitions, detonation systems, explosive forensics, and landmines.
So a starting character gets how many skills?
Oh God.
And the reason I ask is that is it the idea that you could start off with one of those and gradually get more specialized in it? And
I'd have to look and see skill area specializations. It depends on your age. Oh, here's another one of my favorite things is depending on your character's age, you get more skill points and specialization points. Okay.
Sure.
So like a 21 to 35-year-old gets 25 skill area points and then 20 points to spend on specializations. It's odd.
Apocalypse World only has 5 stats, which means you can only do 5 things. That gets old fast.
Oh man, so weird. At least it's not Rollmaster. They actually have Rollmaster sheets in the in Roll20. Someone has done those.
Oh wow!
So now I'm super tempted to run that for the Gauntlet at some point, so people can taste the flavor.
Does it have a lot of stats in it?
It only has 10 stats, but
but they move.
They only have 10 stats, but then you've got about 30, 40 skills. That's fine. But then for every weapon, there's a separate weapon combat attack table. And then you roll on that, and then you cross-reference that, and then you have to go to the specialized critical table.
All this stuff seemed like a good idea to someone.
Yes. Always fun. I ran it for years. So
It's not like we had a lot of variety back then.
that's true.
It was back in the days when you hadn't thought about it, and you're like, if I only had this other little tweak in here, then it would be more realistic. Or it would be, more fun. So you're always adding more stuff. So
you will arrive on site at the Akuma Medical Center. It's kind of a corner building. It's a more modern kind of brushed steel on the outside. But they're also biohazard avoidance markers on the building. You won't see any lights. It's decently big. You will, though, see parked maybe down a little ways from that building a very nice car. It looks like very high-end vehicle in good condition, recently washed. That is sitting there. Looks like there's probably a loading dock entrance and a emergency exit, and probably kind of that front double glass doors into this little hospital. How do you wish to proceed?
is that car the sort of thing that we would associate with the Yakuza?
That is, in fact, the kind of car that Yakuza would drive.
Ah.
So it's not Daisuke's vehicle.
No. Not based on his apartment.
Okay. Is there someone in the car, or is it like empty and locked up?
Looks like the car is empty.
Okay.
So, are there any tracks that would indicate how people entered this building?
Oh, that's a really good question. It looks to you like the doors are locked, obviously. It looks like the loading dock entrance is the one that's been most used. Like that's the obvious way in or out. You will see that the side door, the fire exit door, that's clearly been jimmied.
Okay. Why don't I go ahead and sneak in the fire exit door and see what's happening? And you can follow a little bit behind me.
Okay.
Makes sense to me, yeah.
So
All right.
I'm going to sneak.
Let's have you do dexterity plus sneak.
I don't think he thinks we can sneak, Zero.
Let me tell you, it's not something I'm great at. He's right.
They all have loud shoes, and they've got like bangles on their clothing. And
My shoes are tap dancing shoes.
Let's see, what does that get me? So I rolled I got one exploding die, and I rolled 10. Yeah, that's 10 total. But I wanted to see, since I'm a mastery, what does that actually get me? And I didn't roll any 5, so that doesn't explode. Okay. So it's a 10. It's a 10 plus 2, so it's 12.
12. So you will.
Oh wait, no, that's sorry, that's wrong. That's a 10 plus 6, so it's 16.
Oh yeah, because your sneaking is much higher than that. Yeah.
Yes.
You'll move inside. You're a little ways ahead of them. You will see that and the building goes on. This is at the sort of far side. You will hear footsteps ahead, like somebody's moving carefully through the building, but you also hear like, and probably see like a flashlight beam, like maybe one or two people also went upstairs and are searching. So it's like not that far ahead of you. They're moving cautiously. They've got flashlights. They're moving through this building. It looks very stripped out. Copper wires have been pulled. People have been doing reclaiming on it. So it's all that kind of hard point furniture that's just left and things. And what do you want to do? Do you want to move upstairs? Do you want to follow behind? Do you want to try and take an alternate route?
Well, you said 2 went upstairs and 1 is on this floor?
Yeah, that's your guess. With your skills, you can move and kind of get that sense.
I think I'm going to follow the single person.
Okay.
And let the others know. Signal the others however they see me that's what I'm doing.
All right. So you'll move. Again, with that roll, you can easily move and catch up behind this guy. This guy is moving slowly. You can see that he's got a like a baton, like an electro baton, that he's kind of got resting on his shoulder. He's got a flashlight. He's clearly creeped out by this place. There's dripping water. They've torn things out such that any of that kind of rain stuff comes down. So there's great big puddles and things. He's moving carefully. They're clearly looking for Daisuke Ban, and he's kind of moving towards the sort of center of the building, and you'll see him stop. There's like some glass like windows for the sort of inner courtyard of the building, and you see him kind of looking out there. What do you want to do? And actually, before I come back to you, let me ask the 2 less stealthy people what they're doing.
Splash, 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 splash.
I'm not splashing. I'm trying to keep my shoes from getting wet. Thank you.
Oh, fair enough.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe if he, if he's able to catch up with him, I don't know if he would be, kind of getting on one side of him, but maybe I could try a different way to kind of, maybe make sure that this guy doesn't have like an angle where he can escape from. That would kind of be my goal here, is rather than close in on him directly, try to kind of veer maybe down like another hallway and try to, cut off another direction.
Okay, let's have you make a dexterity roll.
Okay. Well, I've got 3 dice on the dex.
Well, then there's all the chance in the world.
Oh, this is going good so far. We got a 5 and a 6.
Awesome.
So that's 11. And I haven't even rolled the third one, so I'll roll again because I got an exploder.
Right.
So we're at 11 plus a 4 and a 1. So that's a 12.
12. So
it looked really good to start with. It didn't end up so bad.
Skill?
He doesn't have a skill.
Oh,
I'm just winging it.
So this guy is looking in there, so he's not paying all that much attention. You are kind of moving up on one side. So Shiro, Naoki, you guys have this guy kind of pinned between you. Makoto, what are you doing?
You know how you said that there was like the hard point furniture or that kind of stuff? What I'm doing is looking to create a few things that will slow those other 2 guys from catching up to us if they end up making a lot of noise when they go after this guy. So she's sort of carefully moving chairs in the way, that kind of thing. Just stuff scattered a little bit around. Of course, it'll make it horrible when we try to leave, but that's, not what you
Okay,
think it's
let's have you make an intelligence roll to kind of set a trap there at the bottom of those
Why do you keep
stairs.
hitting this whole intelligence thing? I'm an instinct person, Lowell, an instinct.
Yes. Roll intelligence.
Okay. So cruel. Okay.
How would an instinct have helped you? That would have given you a different
Yes.
stat.
Charisma.
She's moving these chairs with her iron will.
Yes.
I don't know. Just making stuff up. So, okay. So, what's that? Oh, come on. This thing. Sorry. It like goes around pretending it's all set. And then,
Liar's dice.
okay, 1 and a 5. So I don't think.
Okay.
And what am I rolling? Just being clever?
Yeah.
So I got
So
6.
you're trying to get stuff set up. Are you more interested in not making noise or getting this trap set?
I'm probably more interested in not making noise.
Okay, then you're finding it hard. There isn't a lot of stuff to actually get over there.
Okay.
All right. So, Shiro, Naoki, you kind of got your eyes on this guy, kind of paying attention to him. He's looking out through this window, and you'll see him kind of gets this like, what the F look on his face. What are you doing, Naoki?
So he's occupied with the window, and he had a stun baton.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
So I'd like to grab the hand with the stun baton and shove that into his side or neck or something exposed so that he can shock himself.
That seems like a great idea. That's dexterity plus brawl.
Right. When all my stats are 2, so it really doesn't matter what I do. Okay. Clear the dice. And we all like this dice roller because it always seems to give us a 6.
Yes.
Oh,
Then
wait,
you
do I get
jinx
an
it.
extra dice with brawl? Let me see. Come on, let me see.
Nope,
Wow, my
I don't
screen's
think
not
so.
refreshing. No, I don't. It's just a straight. Okay. Stop with the errors. Oh, I got a 6 and a 4.
Nice. So reroll the 6.
And a 0, right? So that's 9 plus 4 is 13.
13. All right. And the baton is going to be, roll me 2d6.
Do they explode also?
No. Damage dice are straight dice.
Good, because I got a 4. So that's the total's 5.
5. Plus your margin is that. So, yeah, you will grab onto him and jab that in, and he is still up, but he kind of staggers back. He clearly wasn't expecting that. His attention was elsewhere. What are you doing, Shiro?
I kind of want to see what he was staring off into. It seems like, well, actually, no. I don't know if does he seem like does it seem like Naoki has got him like subdued yet?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, I've got a sword. Probably not a great weapon to peacefully subdue him. You know what? I'm gonna try to, just kind of try to restrain the guy from here. Naoki's got the jump on him already. I've got, I am pretty athletic guy. I might be able to kind of get him, in like a hold or something.
All right. Let's have you roll a straight dex then.
All right. I at least get 3 dice. Let's see. It's a 6 and a 1. And so that's a 7 plus the explode and the extra die. So 6 and a 1 plus a 5 and a 1. So that's 13.
So, yeah, you grab hold of him, wrench his arm back. Naoki's got his other arm, got a hold of that baton, controlling that, kind of pull him back, and he will go, ah, and cry out. when that happens. Okay, from the shock and the grab, and you kind of pull him back away from that. We'll say you got enough margin of success that essentially he's not going to be able to escape this round. That's going to kind of eat his action. When that noise happens, you'll hear noise from upstairs then, as you know, footsteps are coming running and are kind of rounding the corner and starting to come down the stairs. What are you doing, Makoto? You're muted.
I'm going to look out the window.
All right. You will see that there is a guy. He's in sort of hunter orange overalls, kind of grimy. You can see that out in the middle of this sort of open sort of atrium area for this hospital is a garden. And you can see that there are these mounds with mushrooms growing on top of them. And you can see this guy in the overalls is lowering this child's body down into a hole there. What do you do, Makoto?
There's a part of me that recognizes that that might be a mushroom child. There's a part of me that goes, this just has to end. And I think I'm going to set up a distraction. Where's the door that goes to this area on the outside?
Let's say it's nearby you, essentially.
Okay, is there more than one door that does that?
There probably are two, like, let's say there's two doors to go. It's sort of a crosswalk for the thing.
I'm going to go, and I'm going to set up the Gohi stroboscope, hopefully on the doorway that's the closest to where these two Yakuza are going to come down.
Okay, so the one that's by you, what does that look like when you put the Gohei, the warding stroboscope? What suddenly happens here?
Okay, so first it goes to this unfolding thing. It makes a set of boundaries for itself. It uses all of the known supernatural boundaries. So there's a pentagon and pentagram and all the different versions of the stars and the perfect circle with the square inscribed inside of it and all of those things. So all those things kind of get laid out by this armature that comes out, and then essentially a 3D imager comes up, and like you said, it starts doing A/B testing on the various supernatural things. So it clicks them out and says, does it get a reaction to this one or this one more? And it runs down the thing. Runs down the screen,
that
which is the most
suddenly illuminates this area in red and neon green, all that sort of, there's this laser light hologram show that's going through, it's running scrolls and symbols and sigils, the tree of life starts going through in super fast mode. So it's kind of that epileptic seizure strobing suddenly happening in here. So we'll see that. So let's come back to you, Naoki. Naoki, you got a hold of the Yakuza, his baton. Shiro has his other arm. Now the place is lighting up, and you can probably see in that illumination that guy in the overalls in that garden thing. But you also are hearing down the hallway coming a couple of Yakuza coming down the stairs. What do you want to do?
So, where are the stairs in relation to Us?
Let's say you're kind of in the middle of the building. That's down a hallway. So they're going to have to hit the bottom of the stairs and then come down this hallway. They'll probably see something because of the illumination from the hollow thing. So there's a chance if they've got guns that they could shoot, but probably not. Yakuza probably aren't going to be carrying anything like that. Because guns are highly restricted and that's high risk. So they probably got nasty melee weapons on them.
Okay. So I don't
So
want
what
to
do you
let
want
them
to
get.
do?
So I obviously don't want to let them get close to me. So,
Yes.
so this guy's still conscious, right? He's just in. He's just
Yeah.
basically
He's locked. You did a
locked
little
down.
bit of shock damage to him, but he is still up.
So I'm going to whisper to this guy. You really shouldn't be here. We're going to take care of this. We're going to eliminate the competition for you.
So this is going to be a difficult check. Let's say charisma plus intimidation.
Okay. Again, it's all the same.
Now 36. What a great system. So easy.
Oh
So
God.
easy.
Okay. Well, let's see. So I rolled 3. Plus intimidation is 7.
So he looks more pissed that you bozos are getting in the way of his business, and he's going to try and break out of Shiro's lock, and now that he's control back of that baton, he's going to try and drive that.
Well, how does he have control back on the baton?
Well, that's what he's going to do on his round, is get that away from you.
Oh, he's going to try. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's welcome to try.
All right. So Shiro, what are you doing?
So this guy didn't respond well to the intimidation?
No.
No. And do you think it's going to be? Is it? I guess like if that's the case, then it might be difficult to reason with these guys in any way.
Well, at least this guy's pissed because he's gotten shocked by his own
Pissed.
baton, and you're and you guys have
as long as
offended his sensibility. So he wants to beat you guys up.
Okay, and these other two guys are coming down the steps.
Yeah. Keep in mind,
Okay.
all they'll see is kind of the silhouettes of you and Naoki and their buddy. Won't have a lot of details, but they are going to kind of run this way probably on their round.
Right, and this guy's pissed off, but so I'm gonna. Man, this is tough. I'm probably I'm getting ready. I'm keeping my grip on him, but as soon as these guys get down there, I'm going to at least attempt to reason with them. And I figure that, we're at least for now, I'd rather not knock this guy out because it could be, potentially having him right here is, collateral to at least make them pause. But I'm probably not going to break off because I don't want this guy to retain control. So I'm just basically.
That's smart. So I'm going to say that given your roll last time and given the guy's concentrating on getting his baton back, you've got control of him so you can move him wherever you want as you need to, because it's going to be a bit before they get kind of within talking range. So they're going to be running down on their turn. Next turn you'll be able to kind of try and engage in conversation with the other two.
And I'm getting my sword out as well, maybe in a position where I can threaten this guy. If I have to.
Do you want to keep control of his arm, or do you want to get your sword out?
Oh, if it's one or the other, I want to get the sword out.
Okay, so you'll let go of the arm, and then sword is out. Okay, that's pretty visible. There's that clack of that coming out. His thing. Muted.
Am I just supposed to be rolling 2 dice again?
Strength plus brawl versus his strength plus brawl.
So 2 dice. Oh God! Actually, I couldn't have rolled worse. So I rolled a 1 and a 4, which means it's a 1. And I guess I could have rolled worse. I could have rolled double 4s. So I'll take that. So I got a 1 plus 4, so it's a 5.
So he did roll double 4s, which is a crit failure in this game. Okay. So you have a choice. You can have absolute control of this baton and have it and be ready, or you can kind of knock this guy out.
Which means I get the baton anyway.
Well, no, because essentially you'll burn the charge out on him that way. So yeah, I'm giving you a choice here.
I knock him out. I burn the baton out.
Okay, so essentially he goes to do that, and you'll just jab it, and you kind of jab it where you catch him right under the rib there, and you realize that it's like a Yakuza made thing, so it actually has like a flare button, to kind of burn the charge out, and your pinky kind of tabs that, and there's a smell of smoke and burnt hair as he collapses to the ground.
Okay.
To Yakuza, and you'll hear the shtunk of swords coming out as they come running down this way. Makoto, what are you doing? Last person to act in this round is going to be Daisuke Ban.
Let's see here. So, trying to get a thing. They're booking, and they're going to be like kind of running past the hallway where I have the sort of perpendicular to the hallway where the strobe is going off, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So essentially, as they're coming up, she's walking up to the to that hallway, and essentially she's just waiting for them to go past, because she assumes that they'll run past to those guys, so she could just step up behind them, so she can knock them on the back of the head if it comes to that.
Okay.
So she sort of comes up there. I mean, she is silhouetted, so if they turn towards her, she'll look scary as hell. So she's got that as well. But it's not like that's what she's planning to be, as scary. She's just...
Daisuke Ban grabs a bag and a baseball bat and makes for the other door, the non-warded door. That's what you'll see him essentially booking.
Okay.
So now you're standing there over the smoldering remains of their buddy, Naoki. Shiro has a blade out. There's that lighting and silhouetting, and these two yaks come barreling down the hallway. I'm going to let you guys decide who acts, speaks, does something first amongst your group. They look pissed.
I'd like Makoto to go, since she's behind them.
Do you want to go first, or should Shiro?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. I have sleight of hand.
Okay.
So when they're running past, I want to, essentially what I'm thinking is, oh gosh. Yeah, I was going to say I have sleight of hand, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to wait. They go past, I get behind them, and I'm going to be a scary, spooky girl. I'm going to use my acting, and I'm essentially going to go, you guys, he's getting away. Daisuke is getting away, unless you guys turn around and get him. And I point to where he is, but I'm going to look scary as hell.
Acting plus charisma.
Oh, please. At least I got charisma. Yay, my best thing. Okay. this. Oh, after I refresh this. Okay. And I have acting with expertise. What does expertise give me? We roll the lowest die. Okay. So, sorry, it had to be something complicated. So I got 12 plus whatever my skill is.
So 6, so an 18, huh?
An 18.
Shiro, what are you doing? They clearly kind of get up, and her kind of popping out and shouting that, and this sort of illuminated look, and all of these ritual things. It looks like she's got a laser light show behind her stuff. What are you doing, Shiro?
So we've got the atrium, and Daisuke went out on the other side, basically.
Yeah. So it looks like these guys are kind of up in your face. She's directing them to go after Daisuke. They're not quite there yet. What do you want to do?
They're not quite there yet in terms of going after Daisuke?
Yeah, both in distance and in terms of reaction, because they still don't know, and their buddy's on the ground by you.
Look, I think I can get to Daisuke faster than they can. So I'm gonna make a break to try to run after Daisuke. I'm wary about running through this atrium. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous
That
about.
would be the fastest way through.
That is the fastest way through. I'm gonna hold my breath while I charge through the atrium. I mean, if I go, I guess that's a good point. I can't get more. Well, we don't know that. We don't know that I can't. Yeah, so I'm gonna, hold my breath and dash through the atrium, basically.
Let's have you roll. I think this is going to be. I'm going to give you your gymnastics plus 3d6.
Okay, all right. Let's do this.
Just don't roll a lot of 4s.
First 2 dice. I've got a 4 and a 6. So I at least get to roll the third die and re-roll the exploder. So we're at a 6 now. Plus 2 more. A 5 and a 6. So that's going to be 12, 17. And I get to roll the exploder again, which is a 3. So that's 20 plus the gym, which is a 4. So that's a 24.
So you will dash through here. You kind of doing the dodge steps, so your sneakers, your nice shoes don't go and smash on any of these corpse mushrooms, and you kind of run past them, and you're going to be able to, you have enough speed with that roll, you can get up on Daisuke. Do you want to talk? Do you want to try and trip? What do you want to try and do there? You want to try and disarm?
And his weapon's a baseball bat?
Yep.
I think I'll try to he's running away from me. I'll try to catch him in the leg with my sword to hopefully bring him down without killing him.
So that'll take a pause. So what I'm going to do is on your next round, I'm going to give you a bonus to your attack roll is what I'm going to do. Okay?
Yay.
Does that seem reasonable?
Oh, I love that.
Okay. Let's come back to you, Naoki. These two guys are here. Spooky Girl's there. He's taken off after them. They're sort of that halfway, okay, what do you want to do? Looks like they are 50-50 going and getting after that guy or trying to take you guys out.
I'm going to pull out my gun.
Okay,
I brought a gun to a knife fight.
Okay, so they got the Spooky Girl thing there. The gun comes out. That 50-50 goes. The needle shifts, and they move the F away from you because it's a gun and it is serious shit. And you've made a point that you do not want to. And they say bye bye to their friend and they go chasing after Shiro. Does that seem reasonable?
Good thing, because I know how to use my gun.
Yes, you do. So let's cut around to the next round. They're not nearly as delicate in moving through the atrium. So there is that thing where they're kind of slipping and sliding on the mushrooms as they stomp on that and making their way. Probably one of them kind of falls to the ground, is getting up and realizes they can see the face underneath the dirt there, and it's like, ah! And they coming after. So right now we've got Daisuke out of the atrium. Shiro is going to hit him. There's two guys, Yakuza, are right behind him. Let's come back again to Makoto. What do you want to do? You're muted.
I am pretty darn sure that these four between them will sort out Daisuke. So essentially what I'm doing is she's working out how we can destroy this garden. So she's essentially going and is some of Daisuke's materials and stuff still out there, or were they somewhere in the building or something? It's going to go and check to see what those are. She takes very careful
So describe to me what the ritual looks like for you to purify this horror garden.
Okay. So what it is that I need something white to make a border around there. Usually it's salt or something, but fortunately he has this mega-sized spick and span, like canister of spick and span. So I actually end up using spick and span, powder, and I make this big circle that goes all the way around this garden.
Okay, OxyClean.
Exactly, exactly. And I start with that, and then I let's see here. I will draw I will probably have to do then a set of lines that go across it that cut it off, like with cut its power down by bisecting and trisecting the circle, and then in each of those things, I will let's see here. I will find metal rods. I'll pound those in, and I will put prayer strips. I will tie like little prayer ropes and strips.
Okay.
Prayer strips around those to purify each of the smaller areas that have been broken.
So that's great. So let's cut back to Shiro. When you go to cut Daisuke with your sword, you get that edge, you get that advantage, you're behind him. Do you want to hit him light, or do you want to take him down so that he is not moving anymore? I mean, on those legs.
I want to get him to the ground, but I'm not trying to chop his leg off.
Okay, but so you do a pretty serious hit, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so with your edge on that, let's say that you cut across the back of his leg. He'll cry out. Essentially, blood will go down the orange uniform. He'll fall, kind of trip, and you'll see the bag that he has there. Mushrooms will kind of spill out of it, and he's clutching at his leg there. Let me ask Naoki: are you joining that, or are you going to do something else?
So they've got 3 on him. I think I want to go back up. I want to back up
Okay.
Makoto.
So you want to make sure
this
ritual gets done faster?
Well, we can look at it that way, but I want to make sure that she doesn't get attacked by the mushroom child things that might lunge out at her.
Okay. And that probably is the thing, is that as she starts to do that, as the sort of ritual things come up, there is that movement of those mounds. And you will kind of have to probably bat some things back down to keep them from breaking the lines and stuff. So let's cut to you, Shiro. There's a bleeding out supernatural drug dealer on the floor, 2 fucking freaked out Yakuza behind you. How do you want to resolve this situation? What do you want to have happen?
So I'm basically standing over Daisuke, and I've got my sword. Hopefully they're recording because my video is not. I'm not done recording the video yet. No, so I'm standing over him with my sword. Pretty much pretty close to his head, and I look to the two Yakuza guys and I go, look, my sincerest apologies for the misunderstanding earlier, but I believe I have helped you arrest this exactly the person you were looking for. And I believe we have the same interests here.
Yeah. We're all cool. Your buddy with the gun can calm down. We just want this guy. We'll take those shrooms and we're out of here.
What do you want the shrooms for?
That's clearly what's selling. We came here to get his product.
I'm afraid this product's not worth the hassle. Believe me, you've seen where it comes from. I've seen what it does to people. It kills, and that's the only thing that it ends in. I promise you.
And as you say that, you see them kind of turn around, even as sort of the glow of that ritual is going up, and you'll see these sort of tormented spirits kind of, red and green rising out from those mushroom things. A few of the sort of the weird mushroom children are still being beaten back by Naoki, and it's crackling of light and stuff like that. And the Yakuza goes, fair enough. And they grab Daisuke and they book. And so there will be that all of you will be kind of illuminated by that light as you see these spirits clearly caught in some weird cycle of rebirth, like held back by their own sorrow and stuff, made into these weird sort of things, given form, and you will break that, and it'll be that crackle as they give out, and when that happens, like out of your skin, like floating embers, like that, like the spores that are in your body kind of come out, and like a little sort of spark shower comes out around you, and you'll see the same thing, that probably that whole atrium illuminates like some kind of burning fireflies, and all of the mushrooms and stuff will kind of ignite like that, and then and it's dark again, and probably the last thing you see there is the orb, the strobe thing kind of runs through, and it goes, and it just runs to end cycle, and it'll and kind of shut down. So last thing we see from you, Shiro. What is the last shot?
I'm just like doing this because I'm realizing I'm extremely pissed off because I just realized I just saved Tokyo and no one's going to know about it.
Oh yeah. You can always off your auto recorder long ago.
Right.
You can always incorporate it in your next music video.
Oh. And what's the last thing we see from you, Naoki?
Naoki will be cleaning. Probably what will he be doing? Cleaning his gun, not be taking the baseball bat with him, and maybe he'll actually just be sort of kneeling down and say, "Makoto, that was both really beautiful and very creepy. Do not do that again."
And Makoto, what's our last word / shot of you?
Let's see here. I think that the last shot that you see of her is she's sort of like when all the stuff is done, she's going through and pulling up the stakes for the purifying thing, like very much like she's not going to leave that behind because that's all done and she has to go on to the next thing. So it's almost sort of this sort of that she has to clean up after this so there's no sign that this has happened, and then she'll go on. So
have to conceal these things from people.
yes, exactly.
All right, and so that's it for Kuro. For this second session, we got the story sort of done here. If you guys don't mind, I would like to do Roses and Thorns. I'll start. I wish I had time and brain power to have done more hallucinations. I wish I'd had that because that would have been. I think that because I set that up last time and I didn't call it back this time. I think that would have been a nice touch. And I actually had a couple of notes, but I didn't end up getting to those. So I'm a little disappointed with myself on that. So that's one thing. Thorns from you guys about the game, about how I ran, about the system.
Sort of a. Oh, go for it. I think we were going to say the same thing almost.
That's all I got.
Which
I
is
missed.
what?
Say it. Oh,
So let's go ahead, Cheryl. Let's go with you first. Michael?
I think she was saying that I missed Dice Roller, which I agree with, and I think it's like especially tricky to run into a slightly trickier system while also dealing with not having the super handy and easy to use dice tool that we're used to. Definitely makes things a little bit trickier. The system's definitely like gettable. Like as far as like stuff go, it's not like the hardest to grasp that I've played, but it's definitely a little tricky both trying to deal with that while also like messing around with this other dice roller app that is kind of like, what do you it kind of glitches out on you. But I don't have any big thorns from the sessions.
Yeah, I think you could easily cut out the specialties and just work with the skill lists, and I think you could be just as happy. Sherry, thorns.
I was really, for me, it was the dice missing a dice string. The whole thing of having to switch to another page on my browser to get to a thing when my character sheet was over there just made it like really like, oh, I forgot to look to see what kind of expertise or mastery I had. Now I got to go back and and clearly the other dice roller wasn't liking that. So, of course, I could have during the break got some dice if I'd had any common sense. So I guess the real thorns are my own common sense. There we go.
Not like we don't have dice in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris?
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit crunchy with the explosions. The dice mechanics, I think, slow. Maybe we'd get used to it, but it takes a while. And when you have an explosion, that means you have to roll and then look for the exploding dice and roll. And if they keep exploding, that keeps going. And I think that sort of breaks you out of the immersion, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a neat thing because it gives you a lot incredible swing. And I'm assuming on your side it explodes also, so It could go really badly for us also.
I got no sixes, though, on any of the rolls that I made tonight on my side. So a lot of fours.
We got them all.
I like how Christo managed to roll like a straight up 1 on a 2d6, and you managed to still lose to him.
Yes, literally. I was like, oh, that's all fours. Okay.
I hadn't even thought of that possibility until I rolled a 4 and a 1. I was thinking, oh, this could get really bad.
Roses, I want to say, boy, I liked your characters. I really, really, really like these characters. I like the setting a lot, and I liked it even more now having run it. But yeah, I really dug the characters. I always say that, but no, great characters, good fun.
Yeah, I think it was a fun mix of these archetypes. They're very fun with the PI, the occultist, and the media. I mean, where would you get a mix like that? It just doesn't make sense, except for the fact that we all went to school together.
Uh-huh.
Which is the best reason of all, to be doing.
Exactly. Although, like if you think about it,
a high school reunion.
Yeah.
Except by our ages, we couldn't have really been in high school together. But okay, whatever.
It's all good.
No, we would all know each other because you would go back to the cultural, festivals and all that stuff to see things. And so, yeah,
Your younger brother, their older sister, all of that kind of neighborhood stuff.
Yeah. No, but this, and I like the setting. I mean, you described it, and I could immediately picture all of it without even. I mean, I don't think you even provided any visuals, and
No.
I didn't need any. So your descriptions were spot on, and I could picture it all, and picture the smoke and the grime, and the water everywhere and stuff like that. So it was very easy to fill in all the details, and it becomes a very evocative setting.
Yeah. Other roses, Michael, Sherry?
One of my roses is a thorn because, like, one of the things is I'd like to play again. So that essentially what the whole thing is that it really is about setting up a music video for Shiro, and we're like, we're trying to do a music video, but we're having all these supernatural problems, and we have to, get those under control so that we could do the faked supernatural stuff in it or whatever. But yeah, that's. There's just a lot of awesome opportunities in the setting, and the character sheet doesn't get in the way, and I don't think the dice would if I had regular dice. The thing is of course when I'm online I always want to roll online because I don't know why, but yes, I like that.
Michael?
Yeah, kind of echoing a little bit of what's been said, but I love the setting. It's so evocative and actually fairly unique as far as RPG settings go. And your descriptions really brought that out. I love the different individual places that we went to. And I know you were worried about not having enough hallucinations, but there was enough freaky stuff this episode that I would never have said that we needed more hallucinations. I love when Christo pushed really hard to go check out that room because that was a really freaky encounter that I'm glad we got to experience.
Mm-hmm. I was glad too. Yeah, it was a good moment.
Yeah, and I like the mystery itself. I think mysteries can be tricky to run, but kind of it seemed like you had a really well put together mix of locations and individual clues, all of which were kind of connected, and pushing each one, we kind of developed this picture, and we're able to. It felt like a pretty organic way to push towards that resolution, which I liked a lot.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with how it came out. Yeah.
It did come out. I have a question for you. So, did the game inform how you created the mystery, or was that you?
Well, I'll tell you. So the game has some sample adventures in it, both at the back of the book and then in the supplement, the Kuro Tensai stuff. They are terrible. They are god awful bad. So essentially, I went back to all my J horror watching and stuff, and pulled some pieces together from bits that I'd seen in a couple movies to put and assemble this mystery from that. It was. I mean, if it was informed, it was informed by the setting, wanting to do something like that.
Okay, that's fair.
I had a good time. I'm very happy with this. I'm very glad I ran it. So, I will revisit it again because I think it's worth looking at.
Sure.
Guys, thank you very much. We are right on time. I appreciate having a chance to do that. Michael, it's good to play with you again.
Yeah, it was a really good couple of sessions.
Oh yeah, very fun. And Chris, I will see you for The Veil, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I'm in that as well, actually.
Oh, are you in? Yeah. Oh, that's right. So we get two crossovers on that. I'm actually really looking forward to that because I've been rereading the book again, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. So
it's my first time checking it out, and I'm excited because I've been meaning to see it a little bit. I wasn't able to find preview docs online, so I've been debating whether to go with PDF or physical book. But now that I actually can play around with it, I'll be able to decide, how much I like it.
And the book's books. Oh wow, yeah. It's I've said that to Frazier a couple of times, but I mean it. It's one of the nicest RPG books I've seen in the last couple of years.
The art's really cool. I did a quick look at the docs you sent over with the archetypes.
Yeah, it's sweet. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend, and I will talk with you all later. Bye.
Good playing with you guys. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Lowell. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.